Day. She will play tomorrow night. To our knowledge, why the hell the game is at 8 p.m. Central. Nonetheless, we got a status update on Caitlin Clark. Actually caused more damage to their player, only to now see it. Look, the only reason they're making it about 1,200 fans since 2024, $75, $100, even upper bowl ticket. Oh, but no, the fans are really happy. It's just the narrative.
Aja Wilson's back. The Fever and Aces play tomorrow night. And here's the actual headline. Caitlin Clark is available, but here comes the status update everybody's been waiting for. Good news, bad news, exactly how it's been framed all week. And it's worth saying up front, this isn't some mystery. Clark's been managing a real back injury since late June, and Indiana's been public about easing her back in.
Be on a minutes restriction again. Now, Aaliyah Boston just came off of an injury the other night, played 38 minutes. And by the way, everybody noticed that. Oh, but the media, the Indiana Fever media will be like, nothing to see here, please move along. There's nothing to see here, please move along. God dog. I watched one guy's video today and that will remain nameless that covers the Fever, and I'm like, are you really justifying Kathy Engelbert backing out on Dan Patrick?
The bad news is the minutes restriction is back, and Aaliyah Boston played 38 minutes coming off her own injury the very same week. That contrast is going to make fans ask questions. To be fair to the Fever here, Boston and Clark are different injuries with different recovery timelines, and it's not automatically hypocrisy to manage them differently. But I get why, optically, that's a tough sell to a fan base that's already primed to see favoritism or mismanagement in every decision this season.
Kathy Engelbert backing out on Dan Patrick, you big fat furry P word. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. Right here. They will not be doing the same minute strategy of 3-minute burst. Stephanie White added. Caitlin Clark will be available against Las Vegas tomorrow. Steph White says she's on a 20 to 25 minute restriction. Wow. Wow.
Here's the actual confirmed update. Stephanie White said Clark will play 20 to 25 minutes against Las Vegas, and critically, they're moving away from the 3-minute burst rotation they used against the Sparks. That detail matters. This isn't the same restriction as before. It's an adjustment based on what clearly didn't work last time.
Aja Wilson is back. She came back Thursday. She will play tomorrow night. To our knowledge, why the hell the game is at 8 p.m. Central and not a little earlier on a Sunday, I don't have any idea. Probably because it's in Vegas, right? Nonetheless, we got a status update on Caitlin Clark. All right. You want the good news or the bad news first? Let's do.
And look, the frustration in this fan base is real. Fans are pissed, isn't just a talking point. It's a legitimately documented sentiment after a season full of minutes restrictions, benching controversies, and inconsistent messaging from the organization. You don't need a conspiracy theory to explain why people are frustrated. The frustration is earned on its own.
Her leg injury. This is what this organization doesn't realize. The fans of a player, of a superstar like this, are going to notice everything. They're going to notice everything.
The comparison being made here, that no other MVP caliber all-star in any other sport gets managed quite like this, is a fair point worth sitting with. Star players get load management in the NBA too, but rarely with this much public second-guessing, and rarely with this much visible inconsistency in the plan from week to week.
Wow. Go ahead and tell Steph we aren't interested. Her subs are just going to make Caitlin look like shit, and so continue to get tons of hate. but AB can log 40 minutes after a leg injury. This is what this organization doesn't realize. The fans of a player, of a superstar like this, are going to notice everything. They're going to notice everything.
The claim that the coaching staff only abandoned the 3-minute burst strategy because they took public heat for it is speculation. We don't actually know their internal reasoning. But it's not unreasonable speculation. The Fever tried something similar in the Portland game too, and if a strategy visibly isn't working, and then gets changed right after getting hammered publicly, it's fair to wonder about the sequence of events, even without confirming the actual motive.
For $9 a piece. Whereas in 2024, the cheapest ticket would have been, I don't know, $75, $100. Even upper bowl tickets were expensive for most games in 2024. That's the part about the attendance we're not talking.
Predicting erratic rotations and a Stephanie White-induced loss before the game's even been played is pure speculation dressed up as inevitability. And I want to be honest about that distinction, because it's the difference between fair critique of a real pattern this season and just assuming the worst outcome in advance to fit a narrative that's already been decided.
Start losing interest at an alarming rate. Well, let's take a look. Hashtag Fire Steph White posted this. Now, I understand this is only about 1,200 fans since 2024. But there's something to point out here. Number one, Caitlin Clark is playing on this team, and you're losing any attendance. That's unacceptable. Number two, this 15,826.
The actual basketball hope here is completely reasonable, though. Fans wanting Clark on the floor with her real starting lineup instead of heavy bench units is a legitimate strategic preference. And the idea floated here that Stephanie White secretly believes this team is better without Clark is worth naming clearly as theory, not fact. There's no statement from White or the organization supporting that read. It's an inference built from frustration with the rotations, not from anything she's actually said.
We got a status update on Caitlin Clark. All right, you want the good news or the bad news first? Let's do the good news. The good news is Caitlin Clark is available to play against the Aces. The bad news is
the jump from this organization has communicated inconsistently to the Fever need to be investigated, and this is retaliation for Congress looking into the WNBA, is a significant leap without any evidence behind it. Real frustration with real inconsistency doesn't automatically add up to an organized retaliation campaign, and it's worth being honest about that distinction, instead of stacking every grievance into one grand theory.
She believes this team is better without Caitlin Clark. And again, the media, they're just making up something. What, you expect them to admit it? You dumb shits? No, they're not going to admit it. Because they would get...
Predicting the outcome of tomorrow's game to fit a pre-existing narrative, this will be a loss just to justify a narrative, and, better without CC rhetoric in full effect afterward, is the kind of thing that sounds prophetic when it happens to be right, and gets quietly forgotten when it isn't. I'd rather just watch the actual game than assume the result is predetermined by coaching malice.
Get into my inbox, sent all kinds of goodies of places where this team is bleeping up Caitlin Clark's career. Oh, but no, it's the fans are really happy. It's just the narrative. Keep believing that. Keep believing it. I mean, yeah, keep believing it. See what happens. What's the saying? Fuck around and find out.
Here's the number that actually deserves scrutiny. Attendance sitting around 15,826, with real, documented ticket price drops. Some games down to $8 or $9 a ticket, compared to $75 minus $100 in 2024. That's a real, measurable business problem for this franchise, independent of any rotation theory, and it's worth the organization's attention regardless of how you feel about the minutes restriction debate.
Chloe, you are not a real journalist. People are getting pissed. People are getting so pissed of this pro-Indiana Fever, Stephanie White bullshit. You know, they want to keep saying, well, there's made up narratives. Well, I know one narrative that ain't made up. Fans are pissed. I'm putting a signal boost on it right now. Fans are pissed. But y'all will just keep ignoring that. Clark's a professional, no other MVP All-Star.
And the bottom line fans keep coming back to, give Clark the same treatment Boston got coming off her injury, because a superstar's fan base is going to notice every single inconsistency, whether it's fair or not. That's not paranoia, that's just what happens when you build a franchise's entire commercial identity around one player, and then manage her return differently than her teammates.
Training staff in the history of basketball. This will be a Fever loss just to justify a narrative. After this game, the better without her will be in full effect, and people will start losing interest at an alarming rate. Well, let's take a look. Hashtag Fire Steph White posted this. Now, I understand this is only about 1,200 fans.